Unfortunately, Krian cannot be here with us today, but in some twisted way, this gives Antoine and myself a perfect opportunity.
And here you will tell me, because honestly, that's been a long time since I finished Zero Dawn. In this one, so you have skill trees, slightly different than before, but still skill trees. And in this one, you can get combos. And
Mm.
I use my spear far, far more than before, because basically the fight now starts by me in stealth, trying my hardest to hit a component so I can weaken the opponent. And as soon as I did that, I put the bow back because they are on you right away. So you finish the game with a spear. So it's much more right now a story of you're in the tree, you're in the grass, you use your rocks, hop, attract the machine or the rebels next to you, silent strike, clark, and wait, rock, hop. That's the most efficient way to kill stuff, because otherwise, fighting wise, you really need to do secondary quests to have skill points to upgrade your alloy.
Yeah.
Because at this stage, when you don't have any skills or anything, it's really tough because your bow really don't do much damage. And I would have liked, a little, maybe little explanation of to why, when you are playing Forbidden West, you are literally playing right after Zero Dawn. Zero Dawn finish, you're supposed to have a party, Aloy leave, and there's maybe she look for something, or we can spoil that much. She's looking for a backup for 6 months. So there's only 6 months. What happened to the super cool armor that she had and all the weapons and everything from the Hunter Lodge? Because the anthology is coming back
Oh, they're still there.
from the
They're
first.
opening up.
Exactly, from there is still hunting underground from the first one.
Yep.
So I haven't arrived. Uh, just to mention the fact that after, I don't know how many hours of gameplay, but at least 10 or 15, neither Adam or I are in the Forbidden West. We are still in the No Man's Land.
Yeah.
So it's Horizon Forbidden West, but in a while. You take your time.
Yeah. Yeah. No
Because you
Man's
really
Land's got
do
plenty
need
to
to.
do.
Exactly. And you do need to do your secondary quest to get this very, very, very precious skill points.
Yes.
Um, yeah, because another issue, still combat related, I told you I'm quite bad on it. And it also has a lot to do with armor. Armor are split by the type of what you want to play. Do you want to play hunter, infiltrator, combat? You have basically a set of armor per gameplay. Problem is that you can't play, as I said, you start in stealth. So you need to have your stealth armor. And then as soon as you're in a more close combat, you need to go back in your menu and change for a close combat armor. And it's a bit like you have a lot of things to change if you want to be extremely efficient as you can. You need to change your armor and your weapons all the time. That's combat for me. Yeah, that's at the moment it's a bit of the weak point. I don't know. It's because maybe I'm just bad at it, or I need more time to adapt to it. Maybe that's why. Again, I just finished Far Cry, and there's nothing more basic than Far Cry. Where I started with a weapon and I played with it the whole game because there was nothing more interesting to, or more powerful or anything. So here they tried many things on the combat system. Also, they have very much like Far Cry, superpower. They called Valor.
Yeah.
Valor. How do you say that?
Valor.
Right. Valor. So here you have Valor, which you can use or once and need to recharge before you get it. You have stamina weapon. So when you notch, like 3 arrows on a bow, it uses stamina weapons, and you need to wait for it to recharge before you can use it again. You have weapon stamina. There's a couple of things like this,
Yep.
and there's many weapon techniques, but you can only use one at a time. You can't use them like this in a row, or maybe if you use a lot of skills, maybe which recharge faster, I guess, later. But at the moment, if I want to use my 3 notch arrows, then I can't use the spread arrows, like very much like a shotgun. You spread, or there's some sharpshooter skills or whatever. You can only use one at a time, and Valor some time as well. So they're really trying not to transform Aloy into a goddess of war by limiting you with this, which I don't remember was in the first game. This kind of cooldown between
No.
using techniques like this. I don't think it was so. It's
There weren't
really
really
there to
techniques in the
slow.
first one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, skills really.
Well, okay,
Uh,
so like in the first one, you had when you like for instance when you aim and you kind of zoom in, it slows time down. That was one skill you earn. Another skill was being able to put a second and then a third arrow in your notches. The other skills were things like drop down. You can drop down on enemies, or you can pull enemies over the edge.
mm,
And one thing that I actually like is a lot of those skills, a lot of the quality of life skills, the smaller ones, Aloy starts off with those off the bat. So you do kind of feel like
exactly.
you do kind of
That's
feel
nice.
like you're higher level Aloy. Like for instance, you start off with the stealth kills. You start off with the ability to jump off something or to pull a guy off the edge. Um, so some of those things you start off with those abilities, and or the zoom, and the fact that I think because people probably used them so much that it would just be like weird for Aloy not to remember that. So
Mm.
the triple arrow thing, that one is kind of weird that she doesn't remember how to do that, because that was a big deal. But in the first one, it was almost like, I might as well just use 3 arrows all the time. Why would I ever use 1 arrow? Whereas now there's a resource, so it's kind of like, it's more of a, oh, okay, I can't just spam it every
Yeah,
time.
and
It's not the answer.
also, like if you shoot a human on the head, if he doesn't have a mask, he dies right away. But if you use 3 arrows, you lose in precision.
Yep.
If you aim at the head with 3 arrows, you're sure the guy is not gonna drop down. So sometimes it's just better to use just 1 arrow to be
Right.
precise.
Yeah, but for
3 arrows is
machines,
really
most of the time you're going to
yeah,
want to
against
use
machine. Yeah, yeah.
3.
Because maybe you hope that if you're not in
Yeah.
stealth and aiming precisely for something, if you're more like in the fire of the action, three
Yeah.
arrows and
Yeah, if you're using like say a fire arrow and you want to hit a blaze canister, you only want to use one because you want that precision, and you only need one to ignite it. So, um, but yeah, now there are definitely like skills. So each weapon, like Antoine says, has 3, and what you can do is when you bring up your weapons menu, you just hit left or right, and you can select which one you want to have, and then that skill is activated with R1. And so for me, I've been doing Infiltrator was the first skill tree I went down, which is the stealth skill tree. And it seems that each tree kind of specializes in certain weapons. Yeah. So the Infiltrator specializes in the Sharpshot bows, and so the 3 skills that you get with that are you can equip double arrows, so you can have 2. You can't get 3, you can get 2. Um, the second one is an explosive arrow, which is incredibly powerful. But it uses 3 arrows to use it. So when you fire it, it'll take 3 arrows from your inventory. And then the third one is basically your sniping ability, where it does more damage, but it increases your zoom tremendously. And basically what happens is Aloy gets down on her knees and stabilizes herself so she can get this really long shot off. But the thing about those abilities is you can't use them while you're moving. You have to sit still to use them. But the Sharpshot Bow is supposed to be your sniping weapon now. You're not supposed to be running around and using that. You're supposed to kind of find a good spot. So I did like that. But yeah, so you have more abilities that are a little more unique. Like with the regular bow, you still have you can equip 3 arrows. The other one is you fire in the air and it rains down arrows, so you fire multiple arrows. And I don't remember what the third ability for that one is. Do you remember?
So no, I don't remember, but
What the third
I
one
just
is?
wanted to give a little tip to Adam and to you if you are at the stage as Adam. Infiltrator. Do you remember in the first game, Cauldron, how it works? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you have this big beast surrounded by a shield, and
yeah.
you touch a button and it goes down. Infiltrator in this kind of condition is useless,
Oh yeah,
massively useless. And since
completely.
I did myself infiltrator, I put a lot of point in infiltrator. My first fight in the cauldron, which is a main quest, so you can't avoid it, was a pain. Massive pain. I have big trouble beating this first cauldron boss because I went full infiltrator, and infiltrator in this kind of situation is like, no, I cannot move. It's a dark soul, you know. I have to roll and roll and try
It
to breathe.
is. Yeah, I've noticed that too. I mean, I'm playing on very hard. Uh, so I've noticed Infiltrator is it seems like it's geared more for easier play because a lot of times, especially with stronger enemies, uh, the silent strike does not take them down. It'll take out a good
No,
chunk of
it
life, but it will
doesn't.
not take them down. And then if you do it, they will instantly see you. So, all your stealth abilities are now done, and you're right up in front of their face,
Exactly.
so you're not going to be wanting to use the Sharpshot Bow. Uh, the other abilities for the Sharpshot Bow, if you like a lot of them, if you shoot somebody, if somebody else sees it, you're not in stealth anymore. And a lot of times, like a machine, if you shoot it once, it'll look in your direction. If you're not crouched in grass, they'll instantly see you. So basically, with Infiltrator, you get one shot, so you
That's
better
it.
make it count. And 90% of the time, it's not going to kill them, and it won't even take out half their life. So, so you're not very stealthy. And I was kind of hoping that it would. I was kind of hoping that with very hard they would have made it more that maybe um maybe they would have balanced it in such a way that precision shots would have been more valuable. Uh, but it's really not. It's just
Yeah,
yeah. So
I
it's
I
tough.
think the I think the issue is that at some point, you know, when you leveled up a lot and you have nearly all the skills, you will be such an unstoppable machine that they need a way to slow you down in your progression.
Yeah,
And that's how frustrating it is when you are like, I don't know, 10 meters away from a guard, but he's facing you and he has a mask. So you're crouching, your stealth is 10 meters away. You shoot him right in the face. He's not dead. He had a
you
mask.
hear a plink.
And there he sees you and calls all of his friends. And you're like, tactical retreat. Ah!
That's another thing I
It happens
noticed.
a lot.
That's another thing I noticed was I don't know if this is a bug or if I'm doing it wrong, but a lot of the rebel camps it will specifically say if I take out the leader, maybe the rest will retreat, and I will snipe the leader from outside, and he won't even be aware, So that's the thing is usually you can get
Really?
away with 2 shots. Yeah, so usually you can get away with 2 shots. Because the first shot will alert them to your presence, but they won't know where you are. So you can get a second shot without them knowing where you are. So usually, if I use the explosive arrows, I can take out the leader in 2 shots, and I'll do it from distance outside the camp. So what you do is you just scan, and then as you scan each one, you can scan the one that says leader. I kill him, and then the other ones just keep wandering around the camp, and I'm like, they're not running away. I have to clear it the old-fashioned way. So then I have to go in and clear it and all that. Now I'm not sure. Maybe what you're supposed to do is kill the leader, run away, and then when you come back, they'll be gone. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, every time I see one, she's like, if I kill the leader, maybe the rest will retreat. They never retreat. They always stick around.
Mm. I didn't even use that. I just kill everyone. That's one thing that I regret a bit from the first is that I really liked in the first game that when you clear a bandit camp, you you see, like people of your
Yeah, they move
tribe
in.
or whatever move in exactly. And I really like that. Here, you destroy the camp, that's it. It's a ruin. Bye bye.
Yeah, it's like everyone's dead. Okay, I can use the campfire.